Dearest viewer, it is officially time for yet another Bridgerton plot summary retelling, and I am so excited to start my retelling of season 1, episode 3, The Art of the Swoon. Hey y'all, my name is Tasha Raquel, and I am so excited to do yet another deep dive into Bridgerton season 1. We start this episode with Daphne having dreams about Simon. Oop! I think someone might have caught a little bit of the love bug. So at the first ball of this episode, there are major flirty vibes between Daphne and Simon. Okay, like the two are bantering and it's cute. It's not like competitive. It's cute. They are, dancing and they're hanging out and they're talking about how the marriage mart and the social season is quite like a battlefield. Daphne's like, oh, you're my loyal general to Simon. And he's like, I'm happy to serve. Like, it's like, oh, wait, this is kind of cute. So especially with Simon's jealous looks at the end of last episode, kind of feels like there might be some feelings between them, Enter slight challenge, right? The Queen's nephew, Prince Friedrich, shows up at this ball. I want you to hear that correctly. Prince Friedrich, okay? He's a prince. A prince outranks a duke. And he wants Daphne. He wants our girl. He wants the diamond of the season. He wants to please his queen. His queen wants Daphne, her diamond, to have the best match. And Daphne wanted not just a man of, the best rank, but she wanted somebody that was going to give her this great life. And Simon doesn't necessarily take too kindly to this, but remember, he's vowed never to marry, and also he knows now how important marriage is to Daphne and finding the right match. So he's gonna back up. This was the ruse. This was the plan, right? So Daphne and Simon later in the episode attend an art gallery. Neither one of them is acknowledging what's going on between them. Like, despite the prince being here and it being very easy to be distracted, Daphne doesn't seem to be. They end up standing next to a painting facing opposite ways. Simon has donated this painting, I believe, to this art gallery, and he's explaining to Daphne the significance of it. And they hold hands. They very slowly hold hands next to each other, but neither one of them acknowledges it. So now we've got the cute banter, and now we've got hand holding. But we're not saying anything about it. We're not officially courting. The next day, they're once again bantering about what must make marriage successful. And you're like, guys, you're obviously falling for each other. Why are we kidding ourselves here? And this specific conversation they have on this promenade, once again, a conversation in public, mind you. Basically, Simon is saying well, I can only imagine that marriage is a continuation of what happens at night. And that's probably adds to a couple's love and care for one another. And Daphne's kind of what does that mean? And I'm not going to go into specific details because I want to keep this video as monetized as possible, baby. If you're a Bridgerton fan, you can figure out pretty quick what this means. I really want to emphasize at this point in the story, episode 3, flirty vibes are at a 10. Okay, we are getting intimate conversations between these two. We're getting hand holding and we are getting banter out the wazoo. But then on the carriage ride home from the promenade, Lady Danbury kind of mentions to Simon hey, no, you kind of have a title and money and no one telling you what to do, but Daphne needs to be successful. And it's not always great if you don't get married your first social season, especially for her. She has the extra pressure of a diamond. So maybe if you're not really serious, because again, everybody else is seeing the same flirting that we are seeing. They're seeing the dances at these balls. If you're not going to be serious and commit to her, you need to step out of the way, especially now that we have the prince, because that's a much better offer than even a duke is. So Simon then chooses to go the very next day and basically tell Daphne, our ruse is over. It's done. He has succeeded in helping her get more attention and become desirable from the ton. And he's kind of being rude about it, unnecessarily so. And you're like, Simon, babe, you're really hot, but I'm not going to stand for you being rude to my girl Daphne right now. And we realize, wait a minute, he's being rude because he needs to let her go. He is white wolfing her.
You heard me? Go on, scram. Go. I hate you. Go. Ah!
To quote New Girl, he is letting her go and he does care about her and he wants her to be happy, and that's the only reason he's doing this. So he has to put himself as the bad guy and is going to present himself mean so that she doesn't question it. And Daphne's a little pissed about it, okay? Rightfully so. She doesn't see what we as the audience see, but for us, the pieces of the puzzle, they're starting to come together a little bit. So in this episode, we also get to explore some of the other Bridgerton siblings a bit, which is a really fun time. So we learn that Benedict is an artist. He loves art, draw, paint. He loves it all. Okay, he's a creative boy, and we love creative men. And he and Eloise have this conversation on the swing set at night one night. They have a really close bond as Bridgerton siblings. All of them are very close, but they all kind of break out into very interesting, like, little duos, and Benedict and Eloise are a very clear one as the seasons progress. And they talk about how they're the two in the family that are, like, not necessarily just going to be satisfied with, like, getting married and being a part of society and, like, going to balls and, like, attending social events and, you know, decorating houses. Like, they want more, which we knew kind of from Eloise. If I haven't portrayed it enough already, Eloise is defined by the Taylor Swift lyric, "If I were a man, I'd be the man." You know what I mean? Like, she very much ahead of her time wishes that she could just have her own money, freedom, independence, and name so that she did not have to rely on a man. Very much does not care about all the society stuff. And Benedict similarly kind of thinks the society stuff is, like, fun and fine, but his focus is on being a great artist. So, like, they just want to be more. They want more than this provincial life. And because of this conversation, Benedict kind of suggests to Eloise, like, wait a minute, you love writing. You're always reading, you know, you're kind of care about the gossip that's going on, but you don't want to be a part of it. Are you Lady Whistledown? Something to think about. Store away for later. Cut to the Featheringtons. We always got to have a Featherington update, right? Marina is kind of being stubborn. Okay, so she finds herself in this predicament where she is pregnant. She's basically, like, kind of being rude to Penelope because Penelope's talking about, like, love. That's the only thing she can connect with, like, Marina being pregnant is that she loved somebody. So Marina is being a little stubborn over at the Featherington household. She is being like, I'm not going to marry, because Portia's plan is, before she starts showing and before anybody figures out that she's pregnant, let's get you married lickety split and we can hide this baby under the conceal of marrying somebody else. And the one thing I'll give Miss Marina credit for here is that Portia wants to marry her off to, like, somebody old, mostly because they won't care. Like, they want an heir so bad they won't care and question the timing of the pregnancy and birth of the child. But Marina is stubborn. She has fallen in love. Like, she has the father of her child is the man she's in love with, and his name is George Crane, and he's a soldier, and she loves him, and she knows that she's been sending him letters, and she hasn't heard anything from him yet, but she knows that he's going to come back and get her. Basically, she's being stubborn about it until she does receive a letter from him. And the letter basically says, I want nothing to do with you. I don't want anything to do with this child you speak of. It's not mine. Completely and utterly rejects her, which totally breaks her heart. We learn that Mr. George Crane did not send that letter. No, he did not. It was forged by Miss Portia Featherington and Mrs. Varley, their housemaid. I'm gonna be sick. The lengths that Portia will go to, honestly, are sometimes admirable, although they are despicable. The lengths this woman will go to get what she wants, you know? So if you've learned anything from Bridgerton at this point in time, it's that we gotta end every episode with a ball. So it's time for our final ball of the episode. And somehow it seems that Daphne has yet again no prospects. Everybody's kind of backed off because they thought she was with Simon. Like, they were so convincing that everybody else was basically like, yeah, they're gonna be a proposal any day now. So desperate times call for desperate measures. And that was even true back in Regency London. Okay. And so Miss Daphne decides she's gonna wear her best jewels, her best gown, and she swoons in front of Prince Friedrich. Okay. She swoons. She does the most beautiful sweep of her fan. She falls, and Simon sees it because she's also kind of trying to get back at him, you know, because he was all of a sudden like, we're not doing this ruse. And she's like, I thought we were friends. Simon storms out of the ball, which is hilarious. And I think the very interesting thing that I've noted here about their costumes, Daphne is in a white gown, which to me signifies like she's ready to be a bride. Like, she's ready to be a wife. She's decided, like, this is the next best thing I can get. I am gonna have the prince fall for me. I'm gonna be a princess. I'm gonna wear white. And Simon is wearing the closest thing we've seen him in to blue. He's his normal wardrobe, very black and red focused. Seeing him in blue, which blue is the Bridgerton color, signifies that he has feelings for Daphne. And this is one of the most beautiful things I love about Bridgerton, is how they weave these costumes in. That is where episode 3, The Art of the Swoon, leaves us. Please be sure to leave your comments on this episode down below, some of your favorite plot points this episode, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode plot summary for Bridgerton season 1, as well as all of my other Bridgerton content, which you're not going to want to miss. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I so appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in my very next video. Bye, y'all. Stop! That is not funny at all. I'm gonna cut this out. You can't include me doing that in the video. All right.